Hi, welcome back to Writings and Lessons. Today we're going to take a break from learning about chords, and I'm going to introduce a very simple melody to play with your right hand. And the purpose of this is that you won't always be playing block chords like we've been doing so far. I'm trying to teach these lessons in a very similar order that I teach my students. Of course, when I have one-on-one students, I'm going at their pace based on their background, if they've played before, if they're brand new to playing. So this is about the time that I introduce this concept. And so today we're going to play something that I wrote myself. So it's not public domain and I don't have to worry about infringing on copyright laws. It's something that will help you move into learning how to play melody with your right hand. So we're going to start with this exercise that I've written, and then we will also play Mary Had a Little Lamb, which is public domain and you played with block chords in a past lesson. So let's get started. Before we look at the chart, I want to introduce a sustain pedal. This, if you have a keyboard that you plug in, that you're probably going to have a sustain pedal that you purchase separately. Normally they're universal, but this is my favorite type. You can get a small square pedal, but I find that they're hard. They don't stay in one place. This is my preference. You can experiment. But the idea of a sustain pedal is that when you push it down and you play the note, so I took my hand off, but it held it for a while. So if I don't have the sustain pedal down, it stops the minute I take my hand off. So pushing the sustain pedal down. And so there are times when the pedal, using the pedal, and of course you're using this with your foot, completely changes the sound. A lot of piano music sounds choppy unless you use the sustain pedal. And once you add the sustain pedal in, it sounds smoother, it sounds more sophisticated, it sounds like a very sweet ballad. So this is something that you'll get used to using. A lot of folks think that the sustain pedal is something that you're playing in time with your foot, like you were playing drums. That is not the case. So you're playing the sustain pedal, and it gets to be habit. You do have to think about it when you first start. But we are going to use this with the exercise that I'm going to introduce. This pedal is a game changer in this song. Also, I almost forgot, if you have I'm going to call it an acoustic piano. In other words, a piano that doesn't plug in, that's not digital, like my upright, or if you have a grand, the sustain pedal is on the far right. And when you push it down, hold the note, it will hold that note out after you take your hand off, just like when I did this a few minutes ago. I've written this chart with the right hand part on the top of the line and the left hand on the bottom. It's in 4/4 time, and so you're going to play 2 notes for each beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you'll hold this note with your left hand, or you'll play it for the whole measure. You'll play the same notes for these 3 bars or measure, and you'll move to a different note with your left hand. This last bar will be what we've done in the past with a 5 chord with your right hand and a 5 note with your left. So let me demonstrate what this right hand part looks like. So we're going to play 1 and 5, and instead of going up to 1 and the 5 up, we're going to go play a 1 and then go down to 5. So it will look like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you come to the next bar, but you wouldn't hesitate like I just did. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I had had the pedal down that whole time and it sounds better. What will happen is when we add these notes, you'll hold the pedal down until you change your left hand note. If you hold the pedal down through this whole thing, it will start sounding weird because everything you've played all through there is going to be sustained or held. So you'll hold the pedal down when you start, and then when you change your left hand note, that's when you'll lift your pedal up. For the left hand, we're going to play one note for every bar or measure. So you'll start your left hand at the same time you start your right. So let your left hand just live around these notes. You don't want to do this. You want to have all your fingers available so you don't have to move your hand. So the left hand part of this song is going to play the notes on the bottom of the line. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, then go to 6, 2, 3, 4, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, when we play this together, the pedal goes down when you start. Lift the pedal when you move from the 1 to the 6, and then when you move from 6 to 2. If not, it sounds real, this isn't a technical term, but it sounds mushy. It's like all of it gets together and it doesn't sound good. So I'm going to play through it. So I'm putting the pedal down at the beginning and I'm playing my left hand note and my right hand note at the beginning of each bar. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm lifting the pedal and going to 6 now with my left hand. Now I'm going to 2 with my left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. For the 5, I'm going to play a 5 chord and the 5 note with my left. 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, the idea is you want to make it sound as smooth as possible. So listen to it without the pedal. It sounds choppy. I'm using the metronome, which is a free app on my phone, at 4/4 time, and the tempo is 62. This time we're going to play the same exercise, but we're going to change it up. And this is what music is about. It's about being creative, and the sky's the limit with this type of stuff. So now, instead of doing this, we're going to play the 1 and the 5 together. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So you'll play them together the whole time. The goal is for you to play both the first version and then this version together and make it sound like one song or sections of a song. So left hand doesn't change, the last measure doesn't change. We're just playing the 1 and the 5, the same notes you played separately before. We're now going to play them together. So again, I'm going to use the metronome at the same setting, 4/4 time, and the tempo is 62. Again. this is my own chart of Mary Had a Little Lamb. I don't know that anybody else uses the number system like this. It just works well for my students who are learning the number system, and it's also an opportunity to start playing a melody. So again, just like the last song, the right hand notes are on the top of the line. The note for your left hand is on the bottom. We'll still use the sustain pedal in the same way. You could hold the sustain pedal down through here until you get to this where you change notes with your left hand. So just as a reminder about split bars, and I explained this in lesson 2, the tick marks just count out the beats in the bar. So here it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Where there's 2 tick marks, that tells you that this note gets 2 beats. So here, every note gets 1 beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll play it. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this note got 2 beats. Same with this bar. Now I'm on the 2 note. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a repetition of this bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, split bars are explained in lesson 2 if you want to go back and review that concept. So now we're going to add a note with our left hand, just like we did in the previous exercise. So again, let your hand live around all these notes so that you don't have to move your hand to get to the next note. And you can play it down here or you can play it up here, whichever you like best. Sometimes it's easier when you're learning to keep your hands close together. I'm going to use the metronome at 4/4 time, and the tempo is 68. Today's lesson started a concept that we'll be building on, and what you've learned in past lessons with the chords will actually integrate with what you learned today. This is a very basic melody, and if it feels awkward, that's very, very common. It's a new skill and you haven't done that before. So, and again, this is how I teach my in-person students. They have several lessons where they're playing block chords, and then I change it up and they learn to play a melody. So again, spend time playing one hand at a time, slow it down, whatever you need to do to grasp it and to be able to get your eye-hand coordination. Sometimes your brain knows what you're supposed to do and it can feel very frustrating because you can't get your hands or your fingers to cooperate. If you don't type or you've never played before, you may be building muscle in your fingers that you've never had to use before. So all of those things are things to give yourself a break and just let yourself figure out and learn how to do this. Sometimes it's a matter of building muscle memory. So again, please comment if you have questions. I'm happy to answer questions. You are welcome to contact me via email at writingsandlessons@gmail.com. Comment in this video if you have questions. If you want to join the community, You can send me an email at writingsandlessons@gmail.com, and I'm happy to add you to the community. I typically send out emails just asking how you're doing. I send out emails reminding you that new content has been released. Also, I have availability to teach lessons. So if you're interested in Zoom lessons, we can do a schedule of once a week, bi-weekly, or just schedule a one-time lesson if you want to make sure you're on track or you feel like you're stuck. So practice, give yourself a lot of grace. It takes a while to learn how to do something new, and I look forward to our next lesson.